Have you been saying yes most of your life? Have you been the good girl, the nice one, the pleaser? Have you been the one who's been trained to make everybody else happy and ignore your own happiness? Have you been trained to override your discomfort to make everybody else comfortable? This is the conditioning that so many women have experienced through their family, religion, the patriarchy, culture, school, you name it. The messages are clear. Don't speak up for yourself. Don't rock the boat. Don't upset anybody. Just don't disappoint anybody, right? That's the messaging. And now you might find that you are resentful about that. You might find you're overwhelmed because you're so overcommitted. And you might find that you've disappeared inside your own life because what happens is when you continually abandon yourself for everybody else, you lose connection with your soul. And then you start to feel like the walking dead. Like, is anybody home in there? I don't know. I can't connect to myself. Your soul is starving. And it's not just about learning to say no. It's about unlearning the conditioning that has kept you feeling like saying no is the only option because it's the only way to stay safe. So, I'm going to teach you a framework in this video about how to say no without guilt and actually how to start unlearning the conditioning that's kept you wired to say yes and to abandon yourself for everybody else. No more. All right, let's get into the framework. Step one, stop answering immediately. When someone asks you for something, your reflex is just to say yes. Yes, I can do that project. Yes, I can take care of that thing at school. Yes, we'll go eat where you want to eat. Yes, we'll do what you want to do. Yes, I'll do the dishes. Yes, I'll cook the meal. Yes, I'll wrap the presents. Yes, 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 yes. You don't even think about it. It's just automatic. So you need to break that reflex response. So instead of saying yes immediately, here's what you're going to do instead. Pause. You're going to hit the pause button in your mind. Just take a pause. So when someone asks you, hey, can you help me move this weekend? The old you would be like, yes, of course. What time? They're going to love me. They're going to think I'm great. I'm going to get all this, validation and approval and love. So yes. Or maybe inside you're screaming like, hell no, I don't want to do that. I'm exhausted from the week. I need to rest. So the old you says yes right away. The new you is going to say, let me check my schedule and get back to you. That's it. You're not saying no just yet. You're just giving yourself a few moments to actually think about whether you really want to do this. And here's what happens when you take the pause. You realize that you don't actually want to do that. You realize you already have plans. You realize you're exhausted, and the last thing you want to do is lift boxes for someone who hasn't called you in 6 months. The pause gives you permission to feel what's true. And most of the time, the truth is no. So practice this. Let me check my calendar. Can I think about it and let you know tomorrow? I need to see what I have going on first. Okay? Those are some phrases you can use to hit the pause button. And you're not being difficult. What you're doing is you're being deliberate. And the pause is the difference between resentment and self respect. All right, step two of my framework is this: use a script. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. You don't need to feel anxious every time a request comes in, that you're not going to know what to say. You just need one sentence. If the answer is no for that request, here's what you're going to say: I appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't. That's it. That's the whole script. Let's break it down. I appreciate you thinking of me. There's your acknowledgement. You're not being cold. You're not being mean. You're not being a bitch. You're acknowledging the appreciation, whether that's, do you want to go out for dinner? Or can you do this extra work for me? Or whatever it is. I appreciate you thinking of me is the acknowledgement. All right. But I can't is the no. And that is clean, clear, and final. Now, I want you to notice what's not in that script. There is no apology. There's no, I'm sorry, but there's no over explanation like, well, I would, but I have this thing, and also my dog is sick. And like, no. There's also no false hope, like, oh, maybe another time. None of that. Cut all of that out. It's just, I appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't. Now, they might push back. They will push back. And here's what that sounds like. They might say, like, come on, it'll only take an hour, or come on, you're so good at this, or come on, I really want to see you. Here's what you say. I understand, but I still can't. They might say, but I really need your help. You say, I get that this is important to you. I still can't. See the pattern? You're not defending yourself. You're not explaining. You're just repeating the boundary. I can't. Not, I don't want to. Not, I'm too busy. Just, I can't. Because here's the thing, you don't owe anyone an explanation for your no. Your no is complete. You've heard that saying, right? No is a complete sentence. Yes, your no is complete. And if they do keep pushing, that tells you everything you need to know about them. People who respect you will accept your no the first time. Step 3 of my framework is this: expect the guilt and sit with it anyway. Stop waiting to not feel guilty for saying no because it's not going to happen right away. You need to expect that guilt to show up. And even when you use this framework and even when you say no correctly, the guilt will still show up because that is part of your conditioning. That is part of how your brain is wired right now, and it's going to be there. You'll feel the tightness in your chest. You'll hear the voice that says, you should have said yes. They're going to be mad at you. But look, the guilt is not a sign that you did something wrong. It's a sign that you're breaking a pattern. Breaking patterns feel uncomfortable. So here's what you do. You feel the guilt and you don't try to fix it and you don't try to make it go away. You don't call them back and be like, actually, never mind, I can help you. Actually, never mind, I'll do it. You don't apologize 17 times. You don't make it up to them by saying yes to the next thing. You just sit with the guilt like a wave, all right? It comes, it peaks, it passes, usually in about 10 minutes. And on the other side of that guilt, freedom. Because every time you hold a boundary, you prove to yourself that you can, that you're not here to make everyone else's life easier at the cost of your own. And eventually, saying no will not only become easy, but you will start to really enjoy it because you'll experience the freedom from feeling obligated to everybody. So that's the framework. Now, here's your homework. Next time someone asks you for something, you're going to pause, you're going to use the script, you're going to sit with the guilt, the 3 steps. If you do this, your life will change. I promise you. And if you want more tools for building boundaries and becoming selfish without apology, subscribe to my channel because I teach women how to stop disappearing and start living. See you in the next one.